Okay, real talk. People on the internet should not be giving you a price point for your baked goods. So I know this is probably an unpopular opinion, but hear me out, because what I have to say is super important. If you are a home baker, you need to stop posting pictures of either your work or someone else's work that you've been asked to do, and ask people for pricing advice, because people on the internet should not be giving you pricing information without knowing a whole bunch of stuff before they can do that, okay? And it's really important stuff. And the reason that they can't give you that information, or why they should not be giving you that information, is because all of that stuff is going to help you figure out what you should be charging for your baked goods. So whether you are doing cookies or cakes or cupcakes or whatever, especially I see this with custom orders where people are asking, you know, this is what the customer wants, how much should I be charging? So let's start straight off with the fact that if you do not know how much to charge and an order request has come in, it is okay for you to say, listen here, I don't know what this is going to cost. I need to sit down and work it out. So give me X amount of days and I will get back to you with a price. Or I've never done something like this, so I have to sit down and work out what it's going to cost me. I will get back to you shortly. I would give a time frame and make sure that you get back to them in that time frame. But if you don't have an amount, it is okay to tell them that you don't have an amount. You don't need to give them an answer straight away. And if that pause that you need to take in order to work out the cost is going to make that person go somewhere else and get costing somewhere else, I'm telling you right now, it is not worth the sale in the first place, okay? It is not worth it to bend over backwards to try and give someone a costing for something that you have not worked out properly, because you are probably going to give them too low of a figure. It is going to be a headache to do whatever it is, and then the person is probably going to complain, because if they are the type of person that's going to walk away from something just because you can't give them an immediate answer, they are going to be a difficult customer. You can smell those difficult customers from a mile away. It is not worth your time. So consider straight off the bat, if you don't have a costing that you can give them, if it is something that you are not used to creating, just tell them right away from the beginning, I don't know what that's going to cost. I need to take some time. Give me X amount of days and I will get back to you. Then let's talk about what you actually need to know in order to work out what you are going to charge for something. So let's take the example of going ahead and creating like a custom order. It is always a good idea to, and I would recommend doing this like every 3 months, doing an update, because the cost of stuff goes up. I would have a list of the general cost of like butter and flour and sugar and all of those things. Have an average cost of it, and then have the items that you create regularly, so cakes or cookies or cupcakes, and have an approximate price that it costs you just for the ingredients to make those things. So if you are always making decorated sugar cookies, for example, because that is like what I do custom sugar cookies, I would work out generally how much my ingredients cost to create a dozen cookies, okay? Once you have your ingredient costs worked out, you are then going to figure out how much do I want to pay myself per hour to do that, okay? And this is going to go across the board. So it's not going to be like you charging or paying yourself $15 an hour for cupcakes and $20 an hour for cookies. Just come up with a standard price that you want to pay yourself per hour for your work. So that is going to encompass mixing, let's say the cookie dough, getting all the ingredients together, mixing it, baking it, coloring your icing, all of that stuff, and then how long it takes you to decorate, and you are going to work out an average cost for each of those things again, how much it is going to take you, how long it is going to take you, pardon me, to create whatever it is. We're going to use the sugar cookies for an example. So to make the dough, to bake the cookies, to make the icing, to color the icing, and then to decorate, all of those things is going to take me 10 hours. I want to pay myself, let's say $15 an hour, so that's $150 just in my time. Now, I bet when I said $150, you just like quivered a little bit, because you're just like, wow, that is so expensive. You are going to be charging your worth. So if you are willing to work for $10 an hour, that's fine. If you are willing to work for $15 an hour, that's fine. $20, it doesn't matter. Work out what your time is worth. Okay, so then you're going to have your ingredients, you're going to have the length of time that it takes you to do something. And that is why I highly recommend for super custom stuff to not just have like pricing on your website for that. Have a base price, and then explain that if it is something like over the top or something really custom, that it is going to cost more because it's going to take more time. Because people don't really understand that, oh, I've got a simple cake design or cookie design, and then, you know, they bring you something and they want you to paint like Mona Lisa on some cookies, and it's not worth it. It's not worth your time. You need to make sure you're paying yourself enough per hour. Over and above that, you're going to have overhead costs of your business. So are you using an app like Bakesy or something like that, Sift or whatever, to get your orders in check and make sure that people can order from you off of like an order form? Are you paying anything for that? Are you paying for your website every month? Are you paying to have like an email list, like on a subscription service? All of the things that it costs you for your business. Are you paying for Canva so that you have fonts to project onto your cookies? All of that. You are going to work out your overhead costs, and you're going to give yourself an average per month. And then you are going to work out on average how many cookies, for example, you make every month, and then you're going to divide those costs up. And so at the end of the day, when you have all of your costs worked out, then you are going to know how much you can charge, that you are not just making ends meet. You are not just paying for the very basic, you are also making a profit, because at the end of the day, you are here to make a profit for your business. That is what business is about. If not, it's a charity, and congratulations, you've got yourself a charity, which most home bakers do. They do not run a business because they are not profitable. And if you don't know how much it costs you to make something, I guarantee you are undercharging and you are not making a profit. And unfortunately, your business is not going to be a successful business, and you are always going to be trying to scratch money together to do orders because you are not charging enough, and you are going to start resenting what you are doing. You're going to burn yourself out, and you most likely in 5 years' time will not have a home baking business. I also just want to speak about when it comes to natural color, because that is what I do specifically. Is I work only with natural colors, and I have like a Facebook group, and I have like a lot of resources for people that are doing dye free, whether that be cookies or cakes or whatever. And something that's very related to asking how much you should charge for something is asking how much you need to increase your price by when you change over to natural colors. So how much more is it going to cost you to switch to natural colors? And again, the internet cannot tell you this, that we cannot say you need to charge $10 extra a set of cookies or $100 extra on a cake or whatever. We cannot tell you that amount without you knowing what all of those variables are. And in your ingredient cost is your color, okay? And I know that when you start, you don't know how much it's going to cost you for color, because you don't know how much product you are going to be using. I also don't know, and that is why I cannot answer it for you. I also don't know what like colors you're going to be making, how bright the colors are going to be, which products you have chosen to use, where did you buy the products from, did you use a discount code? There's like a whole bunch of variables, and so that is something that you need to sit down and work out. For me, when it comes to color, and the way that I like to do it and the way that I like to teach people how to do it is to work out on average how much your color costs you per month. So within a month, there's going to be some orders where you use more color for because they need to be brighter or whatever the case is, or they're just a bigger order or whatever. So there's going to be some orders where you use more color and there's going to be some orders where you use less color. But overall, if you work out for the month how much your natural color costs you, then you can work out on average how many orders you get across the month, and then you can go and add that into your overhead expenses, and you can just divide it up and work out an average what it is costing you per order. So that is the way that I like to do my color, just because, as I said, some sets are a lot more bright, some are not. I also reuse icing colors. So if I've done a set and I got the most amazing red in my royal icing, I make sure that I put that red icing into the freezer, and I'm going to save it for another set where I need a red like that, or navy, the dark and deep colors. I'm going to make sure if I have icing left, I'm going to put that aside, I'm going to put it into the freezer, and I'm going to use it at a later date. Generally, I like to use it within 6 months, but oftentimes I need it a lot sooner than 6 months. But that is also going to help me to save on the color that I use, because I don't have to make new icing, I don't have to use more product. It's also going to save me on my ingredient costs, because I'm like using icing to which the ingredient costs I've already put into a different order. And so you are going to need to take a bunch of variables. You're going to have to sit down with a piece of paper, get organized, just like pull your finger out your butt and just do the work that needs to be done. If you want to be successful, if you want to make a profit, that is what it is going to require. And if you are switching to natural colors, it is going to require you to take note of what you are spending on color. And oftentimes people be like, okay, I have this order and I need, you know, this color. And I just think to myself, like, you should already have those colors. You should already have a bit of a stash built up of natural colors, so that you are not at the last minute trying to order color, especially natural color, because it's not just widely available as artificial dye. You can't just go over to Hobby Lobby or Walmart and just buy off the shelf. So you need to be more prepared. And I understand that some people are just not wired that way, but if you want to be successful in your business, you are just going to just have to be that way. There's not really a way around it. If you want to be successful and you want to make a profit off of your home bakery, that is what it requires. I see many people in the digital asset world when it comes to like baked goods, people selling recipes and guides and things like I do. I see a lot of people like that bashing home bakers and the amount of income that they can make, and how that income is capped because of their time, and you know, there's only so many hours in a day, and because, you know, you can only make little profits on the stuff that you're doing. And I understand where that comes from, and I understand that those people want other people doing digital products as well, and we want to be charging people for recipes instead of just giving them out for free. So I understand that, but also I can guarantee you that those people that are bashing like home bakers and the profits, the little profits that they make, is because they themselves weren't charging enough. And so there's an aspect of it where you need to be charging your worth. And if you are not going to see the value in what you are creating, and you're not going to be able to have a successful business as a home baker. So I know that I just gave you a whole bunch of information and it's a lot to take in, but just take my words, sit down, work out how much everything is costing you, and then you will be able to tell what you need to charge. The internet is not the place to go. Facebook is not the place to go to post your picture and say, how much can I charge for this? Because honestly, the people are going to be telling you how much they charge, and their costing and the price of stuff, if they've even worked it out, can be vastly different just based off of their location. And even within their location, they can live in the same area as you, but where they're buying their stuff from is a lot more expensive. A lot of people don't buy stuff in bulk, which kind of scares me a little bit. People are going and buying one-off things from like Walmart, which is not cheaper, and if they are working out their cost, the costing that they are giving you is going to be completely off. So definitely consider buying in bulk. That's just like a side note. But anyway, I hope that this video was helpful. I've gone ahead in the description and I have added a free little downloadable that you can use to work out some of your costs. And in there I have put your food color, and I've put it as an overhead expense, a monthly cost, because that is the way that I would do it. So make sure that you grab that. It is 100% for free. It's just linked down below in the description, and make sure that you follow along for more dye-free and just home baking tips, tricks, and all the stuff. Make sure that you subscribe.